It's time to just lick our index finger, put it in the air, and find out how good these coaches in the Big Ten have been doing. Looks like they've been doing pretty good, but what we're trying to do is gauge the fan base. What would the job approval rating be on these head coaches? Ryan Day's pretty easy. I guess he's pretty easy at Ohio State. I got him at an A. At Ohio State, it's hard to be A+ if you're not coming off a national championship, because you're just supposed to win it every year. So Ryan Day could only be A+ if he just won the national title. He is merely an A right now because they did lose their last 2 games last year. Now, the year before, they did win the national title. Also, last year, they erased the streak against Michigan. So I would put him at an A. It's a model program, maybe the model program in college football. They've won a title and beat Michigan in the last 2 seasons is the best way to state that. They have never, under him, finished outside the college football playoff top 7. I don't need to defend Ryan Day. There was like a brief 5-minute period in time where I had to defend Ryan Day on this show, and that was post-Michigan game, pre-playoff 2024. Since then, it's been a lot easier to defend Ryan Day. I'm going to give him an A. Matt Rule, not getting an A. Matt Rule, not on the honor roll right now. Matt Rule, not according to me. Remember, we're trying to gauge the Nebraska fan base here. What kind of job approval grade would the Nebraska fan base put on Matt Rule right now? I think they'd give him a C, just a flat C. 5-7, 7-6, 7-6. Those are the first 3 years. A lot of us expected an uptick last year. I think they expected an uptick last year. I know the fan base expected an uptick last year, and they didn't get it. And the other question you got to ask about Matt Rule 3 years in now is, what's the big win? What's the one he hangs his hat on? Is it the Colorado game when Deion came in there, Jesse? I mean, that's the only one that we could really think of. You had a shot against Michigan last year. We were there, didn't get the job done, got overwhelmed at the line of scrimmage, really. So it not happening last year, I think, really burned a lot of equity. But then at the same time, remember what happened afterwards. The Penn State job came open and Matt Rule's name was in it. So you come off what was viewed as kind of a failure of a season, and then you have to pay a ton of money to keep him. And I think it rubs some folks the wrong way, because like you're sitting there having to just grin and bear it, and you're having to give him an extension and give him more money, which is good if it goes into the proper coffers and they've got a bigger NIL war chest, which I think he got accomplished. But I think it just rubbed people the wrong way. I could see it rubbing them the wrong way, rather. It's not too late, man. Maybe it's just delayed 1 year and the rule kicks in year 4. But I'm going to give him a C because I think that's what they'd give him for now. Hey, guys, do me one favor. Check and see if you're subscribed to the channel. If you are, great. If you're not, it's that easy. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't sign you up for anything. It just helps us do the show this way forever. All right, back to the clip. Brett Bielema over at Illinois. Brett Bielema's got to get an A. I mean, let's be real. This is Illinois football that had done nothing for a minute, and at this point, I don't know how you complain. What would the complaint about Brett be? We were up there for a game last year. They went walk-off, field storming against USC. 19 wins the last 2 years. He's been getting it done. 10-3, 9-4 the last 2 years. A couple of bowl wins over Tennessee and South Carolina. So Brett Bielema, once upon a time, a head coach in the SEC, it's just gone whack-a-mole on a couple of SEC teams. And also, not that it's necessary to have, but it's a bonus when you do have it, he's kind of got the kind of attitude that you'd want your head coach to have if you were at Illinois. Doesn't run around bragging about recruiting classes, doesn't brag about how much money they can spend because you're really not going to be top tier in either one of those. All he's doing is just winning. Those are the recruiting rankings they've had. 70th, 53rd, 40th, 52nd, 45th, 22nd. And still doing it, man. 19 wins over 2 years. So Brett Bielema's got to get an A. What about Kirk Ferentz at Iowa? Been there a long time, man. He's, I think, 71 now. I have the Iowa fan base giving Kirk Ferentz a straight B. And I think looking at what's happened to Wisconsin is important here. And I think the Iowa fan base is, obviously, they're really mature in their view of him because he's been there forever. But they look at Wisconsin and they understand how much they should appreciate Kirk Ferentz, even if they don't have to love everything about the state of the program. Like, if I'm an Iowa fan, of course, there are days where I look around and say, man, I wish we'd take some risk. I wish we'd try and push the pedal to the ground a little bit more. And on that same day, maybe even that same afternoon, I think, Wisconsin tried to do that, and look at them now. Wisconsin was so set in their DNA and their blueprint and their identity, and they tried to go and be something. It turns out they weren't, and Luke Fickell's paying the price for it, and he's on the hot seat now. At least Kirk Ferentz has not done that to us. We've been the model of consistency under him, but that model comes with a ceiling, and so we're probably not winning a national title with him, but we will never be a laughingstock with him, and we'll be a lot closer to the former than the latter with him. I'm going to give us a B. I think that's where they'd be on Kirk Ferentz. Interested to see what Iowa fans say about that one. We don't have lines on those games yet at FanDuel. We do have odds to win the national championship. Oh, by the way, FDM, FanDuel Mike, the other day, hit us up as all of the 2014 playoff expansion propaganda was in the air. And he said, hey, guys, you know how we put out odds to make the playoff? We're like, yeah, Mike, it's Friday, man. We're busy. What do you want? We don't talk to him like that. But he said, well, I got the traders, fancy name for odds makers, I got the traders to generate what the odds would be to make the playoff if the playoff was 24 teams this year. And do you know that there were 4 teams with odds better than minus 1,000 to make the playoff? Jesse, Notre Dame's odds to make the playoff were minus 3,000, over minus 3,000. Pure insanity. Now, fortunately, those odds are not available at FanDuel right now because this is hypothetical. And hopefully, it'll be a moot point and we'll never have to actually look at a market like this. But just so everyone's aware, for all the expanding the playoff doesn't damage the regular season nonsense, that team right there, Notre Dame, would enter the season with minus 37, nearly minus 3,800 odds to make the playoff. 4 teams, nearly 5 teams would have minus 1,000 or better odds to make the playoff. I don't know in what world. How would Notre Dame miss the playoff, Jesse? They would lose Miami, Brigham Young, and SMU, and still be in, right? They would still be in. I guarantee you they'd still be in because they'd be close games. I don't know how Notre Dame would miss the playoff. I'm prepared to say it. I'm prepared to say the L word. Notre Dame would be a lock to make the playoff. And I don't ever say that word because even if there's like a 1% chance something does or doesn't happen, that means I'm not saying lock. We could be looking at a 100% chance of Notre Dame to make the playoff. Statistically, I know that doesn't track, but in my heart, it makes sense. So, yeah, there are many things that are currently on the board at FanDuel that you can go wager on or look at. If you don't bet, then you can go look at it. It's very good information gathering.